15 years. It's incredible how time passes, and yet some moments feel frozen forever, as if stitched into the very fabric of our hearts. For millions of people around the world, people who still call themselves Directioners, this anniversary feels different. It's not just a number or a day on the calendar to look back and smile. This year, it's a day wrapped in bittersweet remembrance, nostalgia, and above all, sorrow. Because this is the first anniversary without Liam Payne. Back in 2010, 5 young boys stood nervously under the bright, relentless lights of the X Factor stage. They weren't yet the global superstars they would become. They were just Harry, Liam, Lewis, Zayn, and Niall, 5 teenagers whose dreams burned fiercely in their chests. They'd come as solo contestants, but fate had something else in store. And that twist of fate had a name: Simon Cowell, guided by the intuition of Nicole Scherzinger. It's almost surreal to remember now how close it was to never happening. What if they had kept them separate? What if one of them had chosen a different song, a different audition, or given up halfway? But none of that happened. Instead, they were brought together, forming a band that would not only redefine pop music in the early 2010s but also redefine the word brotherhood for themselves and for millions who would watch them grow. Their very first single, What Makes You Beautiful, exploded into a cultural moment. Its catchy guitar riff, uplifting lyrics, and feel-good vibe made it impossible to ignore. It wasn't just another debut, it was a statement. It announced One Direction to the world. 5 boys who weren't afraid to sing about love, insecurities, and what makes someone truly special. Fans didn't just buy the song, they felt it. It was a lifeline for many, a reminder that they were enough, that someone out there believed they were beautiful just as they were. The song became the most pre-ordered Sony Music Entertainment single in history at the time and debuted on the UK singles chart as a resounding success. It felt like the beginning of something unstoppable, and it truly was. One Direction's meteoric rise was almost unheard of. Album after album, Up All Night, Take Me Home, Midnight Memories, 4 and Made in the AM, each one delivered hits, stories, and moments that defined an era. Stadium tours sold out in minutes. Fans camped out overnight, wrote letters, made posters, and even learned to love each other as much as they loved the boys. One Direction didn't just dominate charts. They became part of their fans' lives, their memories, and sometimes their reasons to keep going. For the boys, it was never just about fame or money. In countless interviews, behind-the-scenes clips, and candid moments, the bond they shared was clear. They were brothers before bandmates, friends before performers. Through laughter, exhaustion, and even arguments, they always found their way back to each other. But life isn't always the fairy tale the world wants to see. Zayn Malik's departure in 2015 was the first sign that even the strongest bonds could be tested by time, pressure, and personal struggle. It hurt fans deeply and it hurt the band too, but somehow they kept going. Their last single, History, released in 2016, was more than a goodbye, it was a promise. This is not the end, they seemed to say. And in a way, it never really ended. One Direction, as a spirit, as a brotherhood, continued to live on in every fan's heart. When the band officially went on hiatus, the world collectively hoped it was temporary. Years passed and each member built his own path. Harry with his unique artistic style and soulful music, Niall charming everyone with his melodies, Lewis pouring raw emotion into his songs, and Liam whose voice remained as warm and steady as ever. Liam Payne had always been seen as the heart of the band, the one who often stepped in to keep things balanced. He struggled openly with fame, anxiety, and the pressures of life under a global spotlight. And fans who had grown up with the band watched him fight those demons with both grace and vulnerability. When news broke of Liam's passing in 2024, the collective grief felt like losing a piece of their own youth. The reunion fans had dreamed of for years did happen, but not in the way anyone had ever wanted. On November 20, 2024, Harry, Lewis, Zayn, and Niall reunited at Liam's funeral. It was a moment filled with raw emotion, tears, silent embraces, and unspoken words. Cameras stayed respectfully distant, but those who were there spoke of the heartbreak etched on each face. The boys stood together, just like they had so many times before, this time not in celebration but in farewell. This year's 15th anniversary is the first without Liam, and that absence feels heavier than words can describe. Fans from every corner of the world have taken to social media, pouring out their hearts. Comments under old videos, anniversary posts, and tribute edits speak of love, loss, and gratitude. One fan wrote under the band's 10th anniversary post, "Happy 15 boys. We love you so much and miss Liam. Wishing everyone a wonderful day." Another echoed a pain so many feel, "Happy 15 years. I miss you so deeply it hurts. Thank you for everything you've done for me today and tomorrow actually. What stands out in all these messages isn't just sadness but something deeper, a profound thankfulness. Fans aren't only mourning Liam, they're honoring everything One Direction gave them. The songs that got them through heartbreak, the interviews that made them laugh, the sense of belonging that felt like home. 15 years later, the story of One Direction isn't just about 5 boys who became famous. It's about 5 human beings who showed millions that friendship can be family, that vulnerability isn't weakness, and that sometimes, even in goodbye, love endures. Even now, Harry, Louis, Neil, and Zayn carry pieces of Liam with them. In small gestures, in the way they speak of him in interviews, and in moments of silence that say more than words ever could. They each paid tribute in their own way, some through music, some through quiet reflection, and some through heartfelt posts that reminded fans that Liam was and always will be part of them. As for the fans, the passage of time hasn't dimmed their loyalty. On this anniversary, they're not just looking back, they're keeping the memory alive. Fan art, tribute videos, threads recounting favorite moments, and even handwritten letters addressed to Liam wherever you are now. These acts of love form a tapestry of shared history and unbreakable bonds. It's strange to realize that a band that hasn't released new music together in nearly a decade still matters so deeply. But that's the magic of One Direction. It was never just about the songs, it was about who they were together and what they meant to those who loved them. As the sun sets on this 15th anniversary, Directioners around the world light candles, press play on what makes you beautiful, little things or history, and remember. Some cry quietly, some smile at memories of goofy interviews and inside jokes. And some whisper a soft, "Thank you, Liam," knowing he'd probably smile and tell them not to be sad. One Direction taught an entire generation about hope, love, and friendship, and this legacy is far from over. Even if the band never stands on stage together again, what they created can't be undone. Liam's voice, his kindness, his laughter, they live on in the music, in memories, and in millions of hearts. And so, while this anniversary is undeniably bittersweet, it's also a testament to something beautiful, a bond that even time, distance, and loss can't break. 15 years later, they're still here, not just in charts or streaming numbers but in the quiet strength they left behind. To Harry, Louis, Zayn, Neil, and forever to Liam, thank you. Thank you for the songs, the smiles, the memories, and the reminder that, in the end, love truly is what makes us beautiful. And to every Directioner, here's to the moments that shaped us, to the memories that still make us smile, and to the hope that somewhere, somehow, the boys feel our love today and always.